Okay, it's recording now.
Great, thanks.
Is there a judge?
No, Danny's not here yet.
Alright. I'm just gonna keep it like that.
Yeah.
Alright, thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Hopefully.
Just move it a bit. Can you speak farther away so?
Wait, is this not me?
No, it is.
This is you.
Did you get this?
Hey.
Yeah. This is crazy.
Alright. Gotta make room for my kids. I'm just gonna sorry, I'm just gonna maybe keep the door open.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm like literally my body is
Oh, do you want me to move this if you want to sit here?
no, I was
Okay.
just like this.
I'm gonna use a speech drop, so just let me know whenever it's good for that.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm good.
Good, help me know.
Yeah.
Okay, it's lowercase g, capital H, lowercase r, capital D, 3, lowercase e. Okay, should be there. Is everyone good?
Yeah.
Give me a sec.
Yeah. I'm good.
I need a sec. I'm good, yeah.
Okay. Plan the United States not to substantially reduce its military presence in the Republic of Turkey. Advantage 1 is Russia. Turkish national news Russia based on first strike, cyclical reassurance, training accesses, and fighter jet deployments during crisis induced rapid escalation time. 16 during Washington touch repeats it is unlikely to fight away so local government detect your traffic slows monitor use and nuclear weapons being contemplated. East side reliant intelligence flying in nuclear fighter crisis and all Moscow attempt to use nuclear weapons prompting. First time the US to be trying to make sure NATO all freeze able to Turkish Air Force Russia as nuclear missile strike ability to use the sea launch missile Altos for the last Mediterranean both reach and so commits American decision board deploys will capable aircraft could be interpreted as precursor to first strike. Specifically pick up a drop postures are worse for deterrence and trigger Russian preemption sign. 16 big BCs one base field and have pick up a drop prevention. You can Turkey can prompt a first strike and unright determination also supposed to support. The risk is high. Ukraine overtaking a Russian early warning infrastructure makes accidental escalation likely. Schindler 22 Putin outside nuclear let Russian system are dangerous and vulnerable to terrorists. The risk of having Islamic state becomes likely to appear to heighten potential leaders of women to make decision ambiguities being smart conflict one nation with 0% events such as Ukraine access only the US civilians they go to double check out launches occur. The Russians don't like adequate monitoring. They have a terrible and dangerous structure of shortfall Russians have been handicapped by their inability to look down. Russian war causes extinction cotton bear 17 nuclear war between the US and Russia after Mac much first 5,000 weapons to make it possible to go for the better exchange would be great. The exchange is all possible between the US and Russia. Over 90% of the world weapons regional nuclear war unlikely to lead to extinction. Extinction is possible from conflict between the US and Russia. The plan solves removal ships weapons out of Turkey and into Europe that preserves deterrence and compensates Turkey with conventional weapons but prevents nuclear war. Sign 16 to make nuclear weapons more stable. The weapons should be relocated. The Turkish border chains roll speaking to the alliance solidarity NATO because for conventional presence perhaps war basing military weapons weapons remain in Europe. Change nuclear punch not to greater strike capabilities consolidation in Europe would result in greater stability replacing the outpost that could during exchange to lead to worst case assumptions. Independently Russia spies an F-35 set in Sterling that causes cyber attacks around for 19 Turkey S-400 land the F-35 the type that makes the aircraft lethal could be combined NATO systems would be integrated into the S-400 opens up title data to be combined with away from Mallow and the S-400 would access the F-5 data batch Russia the highest bidder. Cyber attacks and F-35s go nuclear lid 21 dependencies lead to cyber threats nuclear deterrence or nuclear where the F-35 capability nuclear munition computers and software computers control chaos as self capabilities sophisticated computer logistics and transportation of vulnerabilities in nuclear system impede delivery and from carrying out will not be able to release another machine to program make a cell aircraft more visible use support routinely transmission critical vulnerabilities terrorists take control of the system and operate undetected of the vulnerabilities would represent only a fraction advantage to a security Turkey would steal the nukes and give them to Hamas. Even if they didn't, they'd be reluctant to fully defend nukes from Hamas protesters. 1122. Erdogan called Israel a terrorist state and described Hamas's resistance fighting for Hamas rhetoric. Just used 2 points in Turkey. The need to dismantle these 6 months in Israel 2 weeks ago. Purpose and rally tried to storm Israel and give AKP. And says Islamist Party Turkey's been a reliable NATO ally during the coup. Erdogan compared to Israel prohibited planes from taking off and your weapons should be in strong, reliable, stable allies. Turkey doesn't fit this. You don't need imagination to nukes it. Turkey is a bad idea. Defense is overly optimistic. Erdogan will mobilize mobs, steal nukes, and overrun bases, removing Israel, rebalances relations, and ensures nuclear security. Ruben in 20. Erdogan inside anti-Americanism regularly getting assaulted as well as the coup event. Erdogan inside a state to justify the purge call of religious state to base. Everyone is not averse to hostages. The conflict well to Turkey Turkey's national side. Everyone want to attack matter of Americans that are see personal American security will have state fire for fear. No worsening the standard for personal could be hostages. The US can afford to gradual withdrawal with danger troops and honey numbers behind the remain vulnerable depending on should they don't complete an overnight evacuation of restores contact while she welcome an anti-president that is solely posture neighbor Washington to navigate that are difficult time and sensitive. 19. Americanism. Terror causes nuclear war and extinction for us. 19. New Turkish spot for standing war terror substance in a state in response to public with the government. Strikes serious strongholds the regions blaze confidence escalate to degrade the US threat. And she actually understand nuclear confidence to that involved by a nuclear state would destroy and would tune the entire species because the last one complete calamity atmosphere pacifies the ecosystems reduce us and the cumulative effect of the entire planet. A hotspot. Turkish revisionism is an existential threat to the liberal order, carefully managing inter-alliance dynamics between Erdogan and NATO prevents war from expansion of fears of influence terrorism to Spiros in 12-7. 2 key takeaways Erdogan intends to persist towards authoritarianism, surging nationalism, and the next phases underway internal dynamics combined with inflation and challenging road ahead. It is to make a clear distinction between tactical adjustments and strategic goals. Erdogan's vision plus challenge of Western notes to become a democracy and peace. This vision brought the hostile civilizational context this century Turkey encompasses Turkey's challenge to the liberal order evidenced by Russia and Brexit. The fundamental trajectory remains consistent. NATO continues to see collaboration to our desire to make control and discourage Eurasian spheres. This balance has safe for potential crisis and instability. The world's ongoing transition to post-American order. This specific nature remains unclear. Unambiguous U.S. pressure is necessary. Turkey is revisionist and weaponizes U.S. inaction and inducements to expand into West Asia. Let's us in 20 equivocal pressure convinces Erdogan the White House is not going to adopt harsh measures. U.S. and clear stance towards Turkey says strict messages to Ankara that it's not going to tolerate behavior in the Mediterranean while Washington encourages Turkey to implement revisionist plans in the Mediterranean. U.S. presidents encourage to Moscow while Turkey's revisionism is encouraging Ankara will continue policies with no consequences. If Turkey's not admonished of the Western laws will follow or downgrade participation treaty as long as the U.S. delays running a red line possibility for crisis go. Turkey always said revisionist and hesitancy does not help for Turkish culture behaviors. Consider weakness. Revisionism will get bigger now. It's time for America to adopt decisiveness. That draws in France, Israel, and Egypt. That escalates to Flocos in 20. In Turkey's policy, the Middle East and Africa, Erdogan targets adhering the Mediterranean, the Black Sea. Turkey is at odds with the allies that Erdogan using relations with NATO to domestic sanctions move the cleaner box of direct confrontation lead to make a major blockade. The Istanbul spies NATO's image is tarnished. The confrontation between Turkey, Greece, France, or Egypt, Israel is no longer unthinkable. Israel drawing goes nuclear. Farley in 20. Orson's Israeli nuclear problem in the fear that states would develop the military advantage. Question Israel considers the use of its weapons the balance out of its favorite scenario involved hostility between Israel and more tolerant neighbors. Turkey follows the then the negative direction to nuclear bombs in part of the toolkit. Embedded ideological divergence on security issues and Turkish blackmail made the alliance unworkable. Evelyn 1-5 under Erdogan, the Philippine president of NATO no longer an ally. Hypocritical council on security placed up to China, Russia, decision purchase against 400 battle and middle of extremist forces in Turkey. Launcher expressing partners with Swami U.S. forces nationalists forever held American citizens as hostages that refuse to sanction Russia. He doesn't for supporting Russia's war. Erdogan turned back on the Western Shore. Support for Hamas provided office space against task force uses basic procure funds. Framing the standard is it maximizing expected well-being. Extinction outweighs burns. 17. It is good for people to say at a stage where would deprive this once people died from concussive and the loss of the only no forward life, humans, massive rationality, development, and stuff like this. People will face physical pain, people, premature deaths, bigger be very psychological effects, sense of hopelessness, there'll be no more humans in that projects. We'll end with you. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever.
Okay. Good for cross?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to be clear, the AF includes like all military presence. How does that result in like nuclear weapons being decreased?
We'll defend whatever military presence includes. If you win that it includes nukes, then the plan removes nukes. If you win it doesn't, it doesn't.
Okay, so if it does not include nukes, then how do you solve the first advantage?
We don't. We won't go for that advantage. We don't solve it. If you win it excludes nukes.
Okay.
But we still have a belligerent scenario about broader American commitments to Turkey and how Turkey weaponizes the symbol of American leverage to expand into West Asia. So that means that an unflinching removal of Turkish support, either through troops, through weapons, whatever you say military presence includes, is sufficient to solve.
Okay, cool. The like France. Why do France and Israel and why does like France, Israel, and Egypt get like drawn in?
Because
this
Turkish
is in the context of a blockade, and it's okay. Well, yeah.
It's in the context of quote Turkey's policy in the Middle East and North Africa. which is what the entire scenario is about.
Yeah,
It's
but
about
can
how
you explain to me like how
Yeah,
they
so
get
Turkey
drawn in?
weaponizes the American support as leverage to expand into West Asia. The first two cards that we read on the advantage give the example of how Turkey is a revisionist power that weaponizes U.S. support for them to expand into West Asia at the expense of NATO support, right? So NATO is, the last line talks about how NATO and American allies disagree with Turkey's revisionist policies because they think that NATO should be more defensive instead of offensive, but Turkey is weaponizing American support to basically bully the rest of West Asia, saying the U.S. is on my side, you can't mess with me, and then expand into places like that affect other countries like Egypt, Israel, France, which would draw them in inevitably.
Okay. The F-35 scenario, I'm confused how cyber attacks occur. Or actually, how does Russia spy on F-35s?
Because Turkey has the SP-400, which is a kind of defense system that was bought from Russia, and that has the capability to track the movement of any air forces in the region. So since it was sold to them from Russia, our evidence says that Russia probably installed malware, or any intel that goes through the system gets transmitted back to Russian producers, anyone who created the system.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, it's fine. But I'm also confused why, like this evidence talks about Link 16. Obviously, Link 16 resolves. Like, why?
No, Link 16 is a bad thing. Link 16 means that within any NATO country, that means that all NATO kind of weapons must be connected, which is exactly why F-35s are connected to the SP-400, because NATO policy requires that every NATO ally can access the US's policy. So as long as Turkey has the SP-400, whenever we fly F-35s over, they can track the movement of that, and those tracking and that data is transmitted to Russia, which is bad.
Wait, but why? Your evidence also says that, like, in the case where we are, like, giving Russia data, doesn't that mean that they won't be able to miscalculate?
What? No, those
Like-
are like two different things. Like,
Well,
one is
I'm
got
asking you,
F-35s,
like,
one
if
is
we-
got jets that pick up bombs. Like,
Okay, but, like, if they... Okay, that's fine. It's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 case. Okay.
yeah.
Wait, actually, let me run 1 sec. Prep. Okay. 20 used. Sent. Okay, is everyone good?
Yeah.
Sorry, what's it?
It's going to be 5 and then case. Okay, everyone good? Mm-hmm. Wait, just one. Alright, whatever. First off, interpretation, the affirmative must have been a substantial reduction in military presence, meaning at least 50% from West Asia, North Africa. Substantial reduction in military presence must be at least 50 CRs. Substantial reduction in military installation occurred at 50% personnel affiliated race, not less than 50%, so substantial around 94%, not substantial, I greater than not greater than 50%, military concept reduction for 50% or DD, 91 you component substantial reduced participation without the approved substantial reduction purpose of funding quantity of 50% or more funding and quantity. Skip the next card. There will be 30k troops total, low past 23 over 30k troops in the Middle East in multiple locations in words and phrases I mean throughout violation. There are 1885 troops in Turkey are in the dock. Also the act is clearly not 50% military presence. One limits to open the floodgates Italian uncontestable after the half is military presence in March, Wayne, or Oman kills balance of prep and concentration ground to generics. The link to tiny aspects every country's terms of security consider broader after perception of regional conflict, their impact according to the topic of states and perception precision, not defining accurate definition, precision, gender, arbitrary, generosity, wisdom, resolution, predictability, preparation, stable, precise resolution, pre-round, present, round, without precision, and negative, no way of knowing what kind of policy that will be implementing. Generics like politics, links, paradigm issues, carry across supply, paradigm issues, drop to the data around have been skewed, and competing into topicality, can be reasonably tackled, reasonability, vector arbitrary, judgment, measure, based on beneficial argumentation, no RBI force, 1 and CD goal on theory, and is a logical reason for being abused. Second off, the app physical plan text version are advantage 30 minutes before uncodified disclosure can over a wiki over message. This app was a new plan text scenario, as proven by the document named 30 minutes is complete to learn a little bit of the app piece together what 1 and C position kept the research and application from disclosure solved. Third off, the United States conditions Turkey inclusion prevents 35 permanent Turkey's ability to pursue a physical non-replacement. The Turkey says 400 systems the US and NATO manufactured and USA Turkey agrees to use the United States Station 535 for and training US pilots and air trade planes on cyber the US 400 only gets suited manufactured in Russia. Otherwise, we would have already have hacked the Link 66 system elsewhere in Europe. Planes yourselves and UD fighters. Nuclear bombs would no longer be able to possibility. Turkey says yes, they are trying to replace relations with the NATO and the United States. 200 has 400 poisoned encourage relations with the West and preventing Turkey from S-15 to lead defense measures. We were making air defense. We don't need S-400 systems. They're leading news servers suggest the authorities approach me cut the card. Rapprochement. Fourth off, Turkey just preliminarily approved Turkey Sweden's membership. The weak Western relations to reverse their decision pressure. 12 places Turkey strongly gave consent to Sweden to join Western military alliance. Sweden protocol would need to be approved as legislative process in Turkey. No date has been set. Turkey would deploy ratification for more than a year. During the ruling party and ensure executed extended deterrence alliance commitment preventing Turkey's naval development of nukes. August 23, Turkey's embraced NATO security guarantees deterrence for its own security entire region, protecting NATO rebellion during the attack action and deterrence to maintain credibility of let's prevent proliferation among NATO members. So US and Turkey is similar to Turkey use defense to serve also for Turkey participation in NATO. Turkey national security priorities require a robust system of deterrence maintained by presence, and Sweden is uniquely key to join for terrorists to proceed their assets could be risk conflict under core on 23 strains focus on the great power rivalry competition being working in NATO with partners and capabilities. Sweden strengthened the initiative to develop deterrence defense capabilities. Cars and indoor ESCO can be capable of various removing time Arctic security initiative for deterrence by denial of Dr. Sweden Arctic RCT constitution required Turkey to develop capabilities. Early on, Arctic defense failure goes nuclear extinction flare. Turning the Arctic regions to more attractive previously including major part of military competition, nuclear implications, weapons are geography, nuclear scenarios, and dangerous actor, road security norms, regional politics, threat, and poised for nuclear threats, intended by increased global discord, risk of escalation, arms, poison relations. And the fifth off raises close economics 24-23 being electric vehicle one is one probably and a stronger candidate. Finds feasible policy, seeking the ancient terms of more 50% ahead of others, and a kind of several points behind polls under visiting funds support being consideration. New voters not taking those surveys and planning to use the political backlash, playing 23 when the commander to face escalatory action to feel actions leads to delay and deadening controversial elements present political power directly as cigarette checks returns and turning managed electoral risk class administration results to control decision and increase U.S. movement in Vietnam after the election tax credibility pillar 20 and everything else about ready to lock weaken the president persuades voters retrenchment and Trump uses second term to pursue economic development from China denies 29 farmers to provide supplementary protection policy including break with the time policy region to globalizing tariffs Trump's to higher tariffs and trade restrictions region developing a bigger break to Biden balance trade trade deficit consequences next year Chinese rise contribute to decoupling China's options are limited only disengagement wars U.S. China wars alter 22 and war time will be devastating keep the peace and embracing ways to economic engagement regional continue as well as the U.S. to avoid we should sidestep to solutions tariffs should increase crime material hard replacing misery would cause retracting liberal from making superior orders nuclear mid-18 terms as going the risk of war across military competition no longer seems impossible in conventional warfare addressing for nuclear escalation has nuclear within the conventional forces targeting no forces threatening nuclear archer Chinese leaders could use nuclear weapons while defeating and consequences would be devastating kids. This scenario does not make sense. Consensus agrees to military bases. Military presence bases includes peacekeeping arms. So John Kong 11 Trinity calls Irish studies military presence for bases directly involving conflict there. Article peacekeeping arms systems needed which are military presence is more neutral power production comes in OT or FT within military presence include power and nuclear conventional or nuclear military diplomatic strategy and United States' role reputation. Russia does not want to strike first. Putin is not suicidal notice. 20 Putin will insist Russia will not strike first. Come to you or what use for retaliation whether on every now from the world and brandishing the weapon and the Russian president non-existent framing Russia relaxing war carbon 219 promotions said highly exaggerating economic military aggression size of Canada 3/4 of half of half the population of the U.S. is working population held around square. Rival non-existential power is a shadow of release military spending 2017 $6 billion greater than odds. Supposedly offensive the rest of security overlap with the Americas actually confronting the Soviet Union produced situation. Russia seem worried about Western nations overacting to inflate perception would stumble out of date policy towards declining power use change outcome is a very possibility and accidental nuclear jurisdiction and likely thoughts too many arguments to authorized thoughts with false wording policies extensive and reinforced guards hard triggered or running to stable subjective control human technical redundancy, improve accuracy, and production. LOW, flexibility of forces or signs of military, we can always wait to use or lose system method, sensitive warnings, expanded the window to escalate, and Turkey got kicked out of the F-35 program. There's no need to retrofit S-400 for Turkey F-35 server attacks on the F-35 horizon. No need their U.S. weapons sold across the world. The impact horizon specific to Turkey. Flybys are inevitable since the B-61s in Turkey used for time. Routinely flyby combat missions over MENA, evidence over the U.S. F-35s in Israel, UAE, etc. Are actually, skip that for right now. The terror scenario, Turkey would never mobilize mobs to sell the nucleus to terrorists, but only because of U.S. military presence. Nothing the U.S. would remove nukes from Turkey. Turkey has nothing else to lose. They cause opposition areas. Their weapons in Turkey are uniquely safe and controlled by U.S. Ben 16 nuclear bombs are included in TLs. Their army authorizes control of Iraqi security. Both air craft soldiers inside heavily guarded areas surrounded by 2 layers of fencing, light and cameras, and intrusion detection devices for protected air bases. The U.S. would be able to disable or blow them up if he wanted to. The perimeter 19 bombs to activate barriers or open forces related to targeting component detonating chemical highly effective weapons facility. No Turkey will find harm. 23 lucky that Turkey remains loyal to security cooperation. This encourages Iran regional influence and military tech and economy highly dependent on trade and investment and closely tied with NATO's nuclear program links in jeopardy. Rescinding American security immediately prompts Turkey proliferate. 20 to concerns about Turkey pursuing nuclear weapons from the semi-widening gap in Turkey. U.S. and particularly U.S. were able to nuclear weapons and prompted a search for alternative military options, including nuclear weapons, securing several reactor projects underway, which is building in 4 primary reactors. U.S. has fundamentally different objectives in Syria and Turkey's use of foreign direct attack and future terrorism with critical barrier and decision would be made by Aragon to check this fewer outside checks and. Let's get the next card. Nuclear striking is foundational for the NATO solidarity. Nuclear sharing by NATO's allies is foundational. NATO solidarity seems dangerous to take security away. The U.S. commitment to allies as long as it continues to maintain American SWs in Europe, seek for persistence of preventing wars, and also Iran we get on into Israel war. We had 21 expanded Israel several reasons. First, political system decline involving parties, economic crisis in the moderate war, and intervention, destructive consequences, involvement with the U.S. Third, Israel feels destabilizing existing priority. Fourth is neither Hamas nor Hezbollah is Iraq's proxy.
Alright, good for cross.
Yeah.
Okay, status of the counter plan.
It's condo.
Can you kick planks?
No.
Okay, the deterrence, or whatever you want to call it, DA. You read a card that says that the plan decreases the alliance, where you read a card that says that the U.S.-Turkey alliance is key to get Sweden in.
What?
Where have you read a card that says that the U.S.-Turkey alliance is key to get Sweden into NATO?
It's not. We are not making an argument that the U.S.-Turkey alliance is key. Rather, we are making an argument that Turkey has always historically objected Sweden's position in NATO. Turkey has recently removed that.
Okay,
the
yeah,
plan is seen as a spit in their face. Turkey
the plan is seen as a spit in their face by the U.S., not by NATO or Sweden. So why would they take it out on Sweden?
The U.S. is a part of NATO. They will object because they will object. Here, let me explain this. Okay. Because the foundation of their agreement with Sweden is based on U.S. security. Based on.
Which card says that?
That's the Fraser 1226 evidence, I think.
Wait, it doesn't mention the U.S. anywhere.
Wait, hold up. I think that the second piece of evidence gets close enough.
Card about the U.S. being key.
I think that the evidence that gets close enough in the sense that it tells you that U.S. presence is key.
Okay.
Yeah, like
so your argument
the U.S. is part of NATO. Like obviously our link is based on perception. Yeah, like obviously our link is based on perception.
Yeah, I understand the link exists. There's just no internal that you read. It's
what?
Like
the internal link is really good. The Karami 23 evidence?
Next DA about the plan leads to political backlash. This is about removal of like troops and bases in Iraq, Syria. Why doesn't Afghanistan, all of that stuff dumb?
Because it's like
why is the plan? Why do voters or why do Congress people uniquely care about Turkey?
Well, I think that we would say that the perception of the
they don't. Okay.
Wait, what? You can say that they don't.
I mean, you haven't read a card that they do. Like the miscalc advantage, the Russia threat. Actually, this framing of Russia argument. Like, what does this mean? Like, is it about reps?
No. Well, we say that like the idea that we are acting as confronting the Soviet Union is exactly what has created.
What does that mean? Is that a DA to the consequences of the plan, or just like framing Russia's bad?
Like I'd say that it's like it functions as both because we can it's like functionally a weighing mechanism as to why you shouldn't believe the AF scenario because the framing of the AF scenario is likely is not true.
Sweden DA I guess what is the scenario for Arctic deterrence? Like why is Sweden key to Arctic deterrence?
Yeah, that's the Karami 23 evidence. It says that Sweden is uniquely key. Not only is its proximity and its cooperation with the Nord-EFCO states, it also has...
Wait, what capabilities does Sweden have that NATO countries don't currently have?
So, first of all, the cooperation with the Nordic states that aren't part of NATO. Additionally, Sweden is key to the Arctic Security Initiative, and it also has like the most military.
So the argument is that Sweden cooperates with countries.
Also,
like
if Sweden
Arctic
isn't a part of NATO, then we
deterrence.
wouldn't be able to have military presence that's able to be in the Arctic. So, Russia, then we wouldn't be able to deter Russia.
Okay. I'll start. stock prop at 56. Also. Okay, should be set. Okay.
The app ends all of these things.
What's the order?
The order is the first advantage, the second advantage, T substantial, Newhouse bad, the counterplan, the elections DA, the deterrence DA.
T substantial, Newhouse bad, Sweden. Oh wait, what did you say after that?
Counterplan, elections, deterrence / Sweden.
Cool. Did you send a doc?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good.
Good.
Okay. Russia prohibits United States miscalculation nukes to Turkey, but does not to maintain U.S. ability to nuke Russia at any moment. Automated systems are weak after Ukraine. The first argument about military is bases. It includes military assets, but excludes combat. Thomas said all two definitions military presence, military asset engaging non-combat activities, not engaging presence, positive terms, activities of the U.S. to promote important military security objectives, and everyday well these low deficit systems to U.S. movement and ability to defend U.S. capable use military assets. We meet the strong evidence nukes are on a base, and Russian reduces an extensively reduce the size of the base. Thompson is about power protection diplomacy when nukes are in the U.S. The next argument about how Russia does not strike. This assumes that Russia is rational, not that Russia miscalculates, which is our entire scenario. The next argument about the framing of Russia. This makes no sense. We're not saying that Russia is a threat. We are saying that Russia is likely to miscalculate because even if they are a rational actor, everyone miscalculates because Russian systems are weak after Ukraine, which is a drop structural argument. Second, framing argument makes no sense. It's about reps. That's irrelevant. Only consequence of the plan matter. The next argument about how it's unlikely crossed by the argument above. Miscalculation is likely because they dropped the thesis claim that B-61s are only there for the purpose of attacking Russia. So Russia would obviously think that we're likely to do it. We do routine fighter jet movements throughout the region all the time. All of that could be miscalculated. They say that we kicked out, so it's not unique. Where this is about non-American relations. None of this is relevant. We're also not going for the cyber attack scenario. The terror advantage. They functionally dropped our belligerence advantage. Turkey's revisionist power that weaponizes American military support is leverage for nationalist goals that destroys alliances, splits NATO, causes cascading conflicts throughout West Asia, and goes nuclear by drawing in France and Israel. The only defense that they read was that the first argument about nuclear sharing being key to the alliance. This is our argument. It's a key point of leverage that Turkey uses against the U.S. and against NATO to justify expansion, which is what causes conflict with Egypt, France, etc. All of that was dropped. They say Iran does not get drawn in. We'll concede that. It's irrelevant. They don't have nukes. Not relevant to our scenario, but Israel does. They don't draw in every other power. Not going for terror. Too substantial. We mean pledges and is the only non-arbitrary standard. Counterterms substantially means considerable arbitrage, and two lowers and non-terms should be according to the ordinary meaning that substantially suggests considerable large degree. It means inside what member 70 angle located started with. Prefer or eliminate anything else is arbitrary. Makes only if the apps hosts the app on a topic where assurance and security etc. may be and go piece. Second predictability. There's infinite definitions. Creates a race of margins to find or eliminate terms and is arbitrary. Third, reasonability causes substance. Next, then you have some bad counter to defend the violation. Good for innovation. Force you to think on your feet, which requires in-depth class education. Force debaters off. Docs feasibility was above counterplan. Perm do both. Perm do the counterplan. Conditioning is an example of the plan because it could result in producing precedence. Conditions compounds are a voter for clash, not real world. Means we can't get deficits because counterplan can happen in two ways. Drop the debater for deterrence and times Q condo is a voting issue for clash force target in multiple ways, which kills in-depth education. Drop the debater. Dispo solves their office laws. Netflix not going for cyber attacks for the first two plays don't matter. Does not solve miscalc. A F-35s are not the only mechanism of using nukes. Just an assertion. B they dropped the Turkey's revisionist move, which means that they don't want to be a part of NATO. Else why? They functionally violated every NATO policy through expansion. It also links to that benefit. If nukes cannot be used or deployed, it obviously is not a deterrent. It does not assure Turkey. The elections DA first evidence of citing early polls unreliable, especially in Europe. The B-61 is unpopular. Auckland and Harvard 15. The government does consider the B-61 to be new Congress projected funny for similar weapons, reason more accurate, less powerful bombs for one that could be used because the B-61 has to make the most offensive new bomb. And rebuttal. No cards about Turkey, no neutron spin or links. The Crawford evidence about Afghanistan and all their links about General Withdrawal stuff by Iraq, Afghanistan, northern Syria. All of those are significantly more important to voters than Turkey B-61s. No China war. Thornton 22. There were since the B-61 so I sense maybe would not lead to war, but let diplomacy would have to break down the issue of system connection globe. Number every other cities, the degradation of the economy makes it war and global. They create a mutual shared economic destruction. These players should work to prevent conflict, military deterrence both in nuclear powers with survival. Secondary countries cannot escape one another. They will have see accommodation more likely than war. Israel, Hamas, and abortion, etc. are all much more relevant to voters. Also, which means that none of this matters. Deterrence DA. The DA is fake. They have not read a single card that connects the U.S.-Turkey alliance or Turkish backlash to the U.S. to Sweden. They read a card that Turkey supports Sweden now, and then a card that says the plan causes Turkish backlash to the U.S. But no card connecting the two that reverse cause. It says that the plan caused Turkey to turn back on Sweden. Crosslex was embarrassing, saying, "quote can be assumed or gets close to 2 is not an argument. No neutral explanations or cards encourages sandbagging and half DAs. The DA is also at 0 because they forgot to read a uniqueness that the alliance is strong now. They drop one seat. Adeline, who says that the US-Turkey alliance is already collapsing due to S-400 purchase, Turkish airstrikes analysis, etc., which also proves that the US-Turkey alliance is not key because they're still supporting Sweden. Weapons are not symbolic. Lewis 16, weapons are public discovery regards most likely which of the weapons are reported symbol of the bombs. Supplies their ability to stop us at no risk. No alliance collapse. Fearman 19 will pull out the alliance race to suggest overstay the US withdrawal and force from Britain, Korea, and others. In these cases, damage the alliance, the larger risk to Turkey required trying to cards and notice by no means serving the presence will prevent the slow to the demand towards the Turkey if the US pulls out.
Can I use your stick?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, already. Okay, the order is T substantial, and then the elections decide. Sorry, you good, Dosch? Vote negative for a model of debate in which a substantial reduction constitutes a 50% reduction of presence in West Asia or West Asia and North Africa or West Asia and North African countries. More importantly, vote negative to reject an app that does not even come close to precisely or intuitively meeting any of the conceivable interpretation of this topic. Look at including their 1 ERs. Look at the violation to T and the 1 and T. I made this explicitly clear. There are two ways to approach defending a substantial reduction. First is through the percentage-based definition. Which is a percentage-based definition. We've read evidence that vacuous quantifiers like considerable beg the question of numerical specification when applied to substantial. The point of defining substantial in a precise manner is to avoid the usage of vague terms without literature consensus. The fact that everyone from the government bureaucrats to debaters and T rounds have been able to sift through and evaluate competing percentile definitions for decades proves that their push on the arbitrariness of percentage-based definitions does not make any sense. Moreover, even if you don't know which percentile definition is correct, the app does not mean any of them. We think that the substantial reduction means 50%, which will prove on the line by line, but regardless whether it's 50, 30, or 10, even 5, removing 1 or 2 bases from Turkey and whatever's within them is clearly not topical. Second, if you do think that we should use an ambiguous quantifier, certain intuitive constraints have to be applied for it to be provide a predictable stasis point for the topic. For the same reason, a reduction of 1 base, or like all of them are often predicated on 1 base, or like 3 bases that exist in Turkey, it also does not meet any intuitive conception of substantial reduction of all troops in the Middle East, North Africa. Any pushback against this argument will prove that you should default to a more precise and numerical standard if the debate regresses to competing assertions that in Westlake or any of their offense under Turkey in the 3 air bases that actually exist are a considerable reduction. It proves that we need a more precise threshold. I'll do the definitions debate here. I'll do the definitions debate here. First, extend our definition. It's most contextual. It's in the context of military installation and personnel. They're indexed to this. Although, okay, first of all half of the arguments were not even read in the 1 ER on this T-chart, which means that you shouldn't have half of the arguments that are in the doc on your 1 ER flow. But even if you do buy this re-highlighting that wasn't read or was not even proposed in the 1 ER, then you should still err off because, first of all, it's in the context of substantial reduction. It's contextual to military installation and personnel. It has an intent to define, and it's obviously legal precise because it's from Congress. Also concede the Brown evidence, the DOD evidence, which are both very legally precise. They're both from the DOD is obviously precise. It's the DOD, the military it's also in the military context, which outweighs, which you'll see on their definitions, because their definitions concede that substantial should be evaluated on a case-by-case basis, and that substantial should be defined by the context around it. If we win that the context around it is proven by our reduction, is proven by our definition, then you should vote negative. Also, reject definitions of substantial. They have not defined substantial reduction. It is massively imprecise. You should evaluate the interpretation and the violation separately. Obviously, you need to be able to determine what acts constitute a substantial reduction of military presence. Obviously, otherwise there would be a massive limits explosion, which we'll get to on the abuse story. But even if percentages are arbitrary, our definition is necessary for you to be able to gut check the affirmative because it does not meet our precise interpretation. The Bacillus evidence, it's terrible. Yes, substantial needs context. We've provided that context. And even if not precision, your evidence says, quote, a case-by-case analysis is preferable and should be determined on the basis of an overall assessment. And we're winning that our definition is precise within the context of this resolution of substantial reduction. Second, your evidence is about the sale of goods and to be manufactured and produced. It's not contextual. And third, the part right after your cutting says, quote, if we were to use a percentage, the 50% figure may be too low. I'll send this after. This means that if we win some level of quantification or exclusion is good, your definition is contradictory. The Arkushta evidence, substantial is not a term of art, but is defined by contextual words, is what the evidence says. That does not matter because even if substantial is not a term of art, substantial reduction is, and in the context of, and it also says it should be defined by contextual words. We define it within contextual words. You say in means inside does not matter, and this argument is stupid. Reducing inside to a place in West Asia is not the same as reducing in West Asia, which means that you don't meet our interp, which I've outlined in the 1 and C, and this would also concede our interp because military presence would have to be located within, so you would just read that military presence reduced by 50% of presence that is with West Asia and North Africa, which is the most logical conclusion. The precision outweighs the model to justify arbitrarily satisfying parts of the resolution to reach the most engageable and beneficial part of the problem. The problem is there's no way we can actually tell what that exactly means absent a clearly defined and predictable version of the topic. It outweighs because the bar determines access to any impacts and it's key for concentrating topic education and nuanced research. They conceded precision outweighs from the 1 and C, which means the 2 AR spin will be crazy new. The pragmatics debate. Here's the abuse story. There are many which debates will occur under my interp should be very easy. There will be bigger affirmatives which already exist. West Asia, Persian Gulf, AFRICOM, GCC, and we also get links to small and big DISAT, primitive counterplan versus PICS, checks back any PICS arguments, but the 2 AR will be new on that. And what the PICS occur under your interp will literally be anything, because any subset of countries, any subset of presence, that means that you could defend one military base under your interp, because it says that we reduce some amount of presence. There are interp leads to debates where the AF causes an extinction, any AF that causes extinction probably matters because a considerable AF. Base spec AFs are super legit under their interp, i.e. human rights abuses, vulnerability to specific militia groups, but have no bearing on assurances or deterrence. The DISATs that we lose are deterrence, assurances, we lose all of our generics. The argument that they didn't even read functional limits in the 1AR, which means that you shouldn't even buy this. But also they've conceded that competing in terms outweighs reasonability. But our limits offense massively outweighs, because you might be thinking each country does not have literature, which is not true, because you can get to extinction level impacts and you can set any app that you can literally defend any app, because there were even single African countries have soft left advantages. Limits outweighs, a limited topic is better than an expanded one. Depth outweighs breadth. It forces third and fourth level argumentation, forces iteration and revision to get the best arguments. Outweighs on portability. It's the most important skill from debate, and controls the internal link to all of their offense, because the neg reads over engagement, which one-side debates the apps dominant apps and generic process counterplans and picks. They say over limiting, which doesn't make any sense, because this isn't saying that you can't read any app. The TVA is an app that's 50%, which means it does not make being app impossible, but it definitely does give us our topic at dispatch, which massively outweighs. Look, the 1 year did not get to anything. Their definitions are not precise. Substantial, you should gut check the affirmative. But use the most precise definition. And the functional limits offense, again, does not matter, because they did not list anything. The 2R will be very new on everything that they go for. On spent like 30 seconds on T substantial and cut everything that he said. I'm sending the card.
Okay. I don't really need it, so I'll just start that's true.
Okay. Dude, I'll
Can you
send
send it?
Yeah, I'll send it. Send.
Condo T.
Condo T.
Is everyone good? Okay. They dropped the conditionalities about each for class. They didn't do any weighing, even if the tour might be new on the weighing. That's inevitable. That's like basically impact calculus. They dropped the conditionality, forces us to argue on multiple layers, which kills into education. It has to come before T, because it influences our ability to spend time on each page. I.e., the reason we spent less time on T was because we had to spend more time on the counter plan, and they could eviscerate the amount of time that we spent on that by not going for the position, which basically eliminates our ability to read offense. Even if you might have intuitive or arbitrary understandings of what might outweigh or that T might come first, they didn't do any of that work. You should not insert yourself, because it takes the debate out of the debater's hands. Even if these arguments might be new, they had the chance to weigh in the 2 and the 2 and they didn't spend any time on conditionality, which means that at the worst we have a voting issue, they have a voting issue, so you should just vote on presumption, because there's only a risk that our weighing should be evaluated. Topicality, you should prefer a qualitative definition of substantial over a quantitative one. Any other interpretation is arbitrary, which turns all their arguments about precision and predictability. They dropped that a definition of substantial exists for functionally everything, and even their own definitions are not actually contextual or precise. Their DOD definition is defining a substantial reduction of quote joy program operations. The CRS definition that we did re-highlight says in the context of this one paragraph, which is referencing something that isn't just military presence. Their only response is that it's about military installations. There's no definition of what an installation is, why that's the same as presence, etc. The second argument we'll go for is that the app conclusively meets. They have dropped that the plan eliminates nuclear weapons, which is topical in Turkey, which are certainly the most substantial military presence we have in the region. They have not actually given a violation. It's obviously intuitive that nukes are more substantial than troops. Their only violation says that the plan reduces like 10% of troops. That does not matter, because if we win, the nuclear weapons are much more substantial than troops. Then they don't even have a quantitative violation, because removing nuclear weapons from Turkey amounts to removing thousands or millions of troops from everywhere else in West Asia. So they haven't actually established a violation, which was all of the like Shanghai definition that we did on the other page. Even if you agree with the arguments about precision, outweighing, and thresholds, there's no impact to any of it, because they have to actually establish that there was a loss of ground or a loss of limits. Because even if we explode limits, that does not mean that precision always outweighs all of their offense was about how precision is an internal link into ground, etc. But our 1 year predictability offense, which was in the 1 year doc and was read, says that obviously impacted the precision arguments. It says that precision only matters into insofar as it affects the arguments that they can read. They said that we didn't read functional limits. We did say on the first argument that deterrence, security assurances, etc. all check. They're linked to the perception of withdrawal, like the elections D, etc., which means that we don't actually, which means that the negative does not actually lose any ground. Our over-limiting offense is massive. They reduced the topic to 2 apps. Every example that they gave was just West Asia, North Africa. No one is reading a North Africa app. No one is reading a West Asia app. Maybe Persian Gulf, etc. is one app, but that hosts the app on the TOC topic, destroys app innovation, clash, etc. All of that turns all of their offense. It means that even if their debates are marginally more precise or semantically accurate, it's much worse to have in the long term because it kills in-depth clash and depth. And it kills in-depth clash and depth, which outweighs all of their offense. They say that their term is more legally precise. There's no impact to legal precision. There's no impact to legal precision in the context of the topic because, again, debate is not meant to be solely for lawyers. It's meant to be about what's best for debatability, what's best for learning, which is that if we win, our interpretation is better for clash, and the impact to that legal precision then it turns all of their offense. They say that they lose links to deterrence perception because our app is tiny. We don't allow one single base because our counter-interpretation says it has to be considerable, so one single base or one single truth does not meet, but removing nukes obviously does.
Good debate.
Good debate.
we not coming though? Sorry, it's like bothering me. No worries. You can say, but just be like, yeah. Okay.
Last time.
Everyone has to stay.